We're going to be talking about how to make custom bumpers or aftermarket parts for your car. It's similar to just making a bumper in the first place. It's just you're going to make adjustments and make it more custom or more like whatever you feel you'd like to make. So I went through and I made a few different ones. I made this kind of style. You'll see some similar styles like this on other cars, so you can compare it to the original. This one here is the original, and this is my custom thing that I just kind of made up myself. And then I went through and just made a few other ones. A lot of times on cars you'll see like these areas around this fog light here. So I kind of made something like that, and then I went a little crazy and just made up my own little design in the center. And then I just refined it here, and then I made a similar design to my initial design, except instead of having this red part continuing over, I continued this black part over. So maybe you like that a little better than this one, maybe not. But you can do pretty much whatever you want with this, so we're just going to show you the general idea of how you go about doing this. And like I said, it's similar to just making the bumper in the first place. You're just going to make it with whatever specifications you feel you want. So the first thing you're going to need is a car model. Either you can use my car model or your own car model. Just go to this link. The link will be in the description. You're going to need an account so you can sign up. If you have one, just log in. Then you're going to go down a bit. You're going to click on download, and you're going to download the model. Just remember where it's being downloaded. For me, it usually downloads to my desktop. That's my default for where my downloads go. So I'm going to close all these. And then once you have it downloaded, you'll have this file. You can just double click on it. And then double click on this, and double click on this to open it up. Once you're done, you can close this, and then you should have your Blender file open. It should look similar to this. So first we're just going to make a simple one. We're just going to basically just adjust the topology that we already have, and we're going to make one similar to this or with the black part going across. This is the easier one. It's just adjusting the geometry that we have. So we're going to right click on this car here. We're going to tab into edit mode, and we're going to deselect everything. Just make sure everything's deselected. I'm going to select one of these pieces, press period on the number pad to focus in on it. And we're actually just going to Alt right click, Alt and Shift right click, and then we're going to do Control plus. And I want to deselect these, so I'm going to do C for circle select and deselect those. Then I'm going to do Control plus again, and then deselect these again. There was just one little face down here that I wanted to select, so that was why we were deselecting right here. And then we're going to bring these up. We're going to make something similar to that second car that I showed you. We're going to switch to vertex select, and we're going to select these two vertices. So you can do Z for wireframe, get these two vertices here, and we're going to bring them down and over a bit, try to straighten this out some. So now we have a shape similar to this. Instead of having this straight across, it'd look a little nicer if it was curved, so we can take some of these points and just bring them down, or you can bring all three of them down if you want. Just select them, bring them down till you get more of a curved shape like this. And that's looking pretty good. So the next thing we want to do is kind of make an area right here to fill in for where this light is. So what we're going to do for that is we're just going to go to face select and select this face, E to extrude, right click to cancel, then just bring it down. And I'm actually going to do S, Z, and then 0 to flatten it out on the Z axis, and press enter. And then just bring it over some. And I'm going to bring it back a little so it's resting on this piece. And something like that should be fine. One thing I think I want to do is kind of bring these back. So I'm going to go to vertex select, Z for wireframe, C for circle select, deselect these front ones so you only have the back ones. I'm going to bring this back so it's less of an extreme angle that looks a little bit better. Something like that looks pretty good. So the next thing is to bring these across. So what we're going to do is do Control R, left click, slide this down a bit, and then left click again, switch to face select, select this face, E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring this over on the X axis and back on the Y axis. We're going to bring this over until it's going through the car a bit so that it's hiding right here. If you need to and you still have parts sticking out over here, you can go to vertex select, Z for wireframe, C for circle select, middle mouse deselect, and then bring these back until they're hiding over here. That looks pretty good. So now we have a nice little area for our fog light. This looks pretty nice. The next thing we can do is either bring these across or we can bring this darker part across. So we'll take a look at both options. The way that I did it here was just Control R, mouse wheel up once, left click, right click, switch to face select, select this face, E to extrude and bring this down. Then what we're going to do is S, X, and then 0 to flatten it out on the X axis. We're going to do S, Z, and scale it up slightly so that it has a similar width to the original width. Then we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring it to the center. And now we have this. So that's looking okay. I think I want to bring it down a little bit, but first we're going to do delete and choose faces, because there was an interior face there that we want to get rid of. So we're going to alt right click, and we're just going to bring this down slightly until it's a bit below these pieces right here, so that it's down there below those. And it looks like it's a little bit too big, so we're actually just going to do S and then Z and scale this down a little. One thing I want to do is, instead of having this a straight edge right here, I'd rather have it a 45-degree angle. So we're going to go to vertex select, alt right click. We're going to do 1 for front view, and we're going to do alt, control, shift, and S. And then we're going to bring it over in this direction. And you'll see down at the bottom left, it has the value there. And we just want to do -0.5. So we're going to type in -0.5 on the number pad, and then press enter, and that'll give us a 45-degree angle here. So now we have our nice little piece like this. If you like that, that's great, but I'll show you how to do the other part across like this instead. So we have these selected. Let's do alt and shift right click, and then delete and choose vertices. We're going to need to fill in this area again, so we're going to select these 2 vertices and press F. Then we're going to do Control R, left click, right click. If you want to, you can slide this in or out depending on the thickness you want for this piece. Go to face select, select this face, E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring it over to the center. Then what you can do is bring it forward some, so it has more of a forward angle like that if you'd like that. So that gives you a different way of doing it. Still looks nice, but you have a black part here instead of this red part. So that's pretty much it for just making simple adjustments to your existing mesh in order to make a different mesh. Now we're going to take a look at making a completely new bumper for your car. So first you want to figure out where exactly the bumper starts and ends, and there's always these lines here to tell you. So for this car, the bumper is below these lines, so this is where the bumper meets up with the hood and the side of the car here, which is one piece. So below these lines, we're going to basically delete everything below these 2 lines, and then we'll start from scratch making our own bumper instead. So in my original model, I actually didn't make these lines, I don't think, so I'm going to have to add them in. You can see that they're pretty much a straight diagonal here for both of these lines. So we're going to have to try to add those in. So what we're going to do is do tab to go to edit mode, and I'm actually going to hide these pieces here. So I'm going to right click to select, Control L, H to hide that, and we're going to hide these as well. So actually what we want to do is just select one of these, do Control L, Shift H. That's going to hide everything else. Then we're going to go to vertex select, we're going to do A to deselect. So we want to figure out where we want this angle to be, and I think it's at this vertex point, and then we want it to go down pretty much to here is what I'm thinking. So what we're going to do, maybe this, yeah, we're going to go with this vertex point. So we're going to do K for the knife cut tool, left click here, and we're going to bring this down at an angle similar to what the picture looks like, and you want to get this very last edge here and maybe bring it up a little bit. And actually I want to go right to this vertex, I think. So we're going to hover over this vertex here, make sure it's a square like that, then you're going to left click and press enter. And that's going to make that nice straight line over to here. And we don't have to worry about the back because the back part is already connected through that line. And then what we're going to do is press H to hide this. Or actually, yeah, we can just do H to hide this. I'm going to save this wheel arch because I don't want to have to recreate it. So we're going to Alt right click and we're going to do H to hide that as well. Then we're going to select the vertex here, do Control L, and it looks like we still have a connection here. So we want to select this vertex, do H to hide that one, and now we should be able to select this and do Control L, and it still looks like we have a problem. And it's because of this back here. So we're going to take this vertex and do H to hide, select this and do Control L, and now we're getting what we want. So you should have just this front bumper, and then you're going to do delete and choose vertices. Then we're going to do Alt H to unhide everything, A to deselect. So we're now back to the very basics. You can see obviously we don't have our bumper anymore. So you can, from here, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. What I did on one of my other models was just to select this vertex, and we're going to bring it across actually to this one, so we can select these two and press F. And it looks like actually I may have deleted this other part here, which I shouldn't have, so I'm going to select this one, E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring this down, and then select these four and press F to kind of make that filled in area there again. So what we can do from here is select these two, and what I think I want to do is kind of isolate this top set of headlights, and then we're going to make an area for these bottom headlights, and we'll make a little area for this as well. So we're going to take these two, we're going to E to extrude, right click to cancel, and we're going to bring these down. Then we'll bring them maybe forward a little bit. Then what we want to do is kind of try to connect these over so we're still keeping nice geometry here. And actually I want to bring this maybe down a bit, sort of like that. And then bring this vertex forward so that it's in front of this mesh here. And that looks pretty good. So we want to connect this over, so we're going to do Control R, left click, right click, and we're going to connect these over. There's actually an extra vertex here, so I'm going to just take it and shift select this one, Alt M at last. And then we can take these four here and press F, and then these two and press F. And it looks like this has the wrong material, but I'm just going to leave it for now. Maybe it will look nice or something. We'll see what happens. So from here, I'm going to bring this one down and then create an area for this part. So we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring this down, and I'm going to fill in this face here by pressing F, selecting these four and pressing F, and bring this forward a little bit. And I actually should bring this forward a bit and this forward to continue keeping that curvature nice. Then we're going to take this one, E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring it down, and we want it to connect to this one, so we're just going to select those two, press F, and maybe bring this up a bit so we have a smaller area for that part. Eventually we want this to connect over to here, so I'm going to select some of these here, maybe select all of these. We're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring them down to kind of meet up with this next point here. I'm going to bring them back as well. And then I'm going to take these and we'll press F. We'll fill in that area there. Then what I think I want to do is bring these over some. We'll bring them down some. And then maybe bring this one down as well. And we'll connect this over to there. This color difference is not working out the best. That's okay though, we can work on that. Then maybe we can take these four and press F and fill in that area as well. And I think I want to bring these back, so we're going to take these points here, bring them back slightly just to keep better curvature in this area, and I'm going to bring this one forward a little bit. That's looking good, but I think what I want to go do is go to face select these faces, and we want to change the material. So I'm going to go to the materials tab and I'm going to click assign to give this to red material. But actually the problem is we need to do Control N to recalculate the normals, and then maybe assign this material, or this material here actually. So go to Car Paint 2 and click Assign to change it to that material. And also go to Object Mode and turn on Smooth Shading, and that'll fix the shading here. So we can get a look at what we have. This actually looks pretty nice. I like it. So we're going to go back to Face Select, or Vertex Select actually. And we kind of want to make an area around this part. So I'm going to take this. We're going to do E to Extrude, right click to cancel, bring this down. Maybe up a bit actually, and take these two and press F. Bring this one maybe back a little. Then I'm going to take this one, E to Extrude, right click to cancel, bring it over, or bring it down, and maybe even over a bit. And then take these four and press F. And then I'm going to do Control R and left click here, or actually we'll do a mouse wheel up and then left click, right click. Then I'm going to take these two and slide them over with Q, and these two and slide them over with Q. If you don't have your hotkey set up, go to Mesh, Edges, and Edge Slide. Just right click here, change or add shortcut, and then hover your mouse over this and press Q, and then your hotkey will be Q. Then we're going to take these two, E to Extrude, right click to cancel, and then bring them down. And I'm going to do S, Z, and then 0 to flatten it out, and we'll just bring it down like this. Take these two and press F to fill in that gap that's there. We're going to want to adjust these backwards some to fit the curvature of this part of the car. So that looks pretty good. And then we're going to take these two, E to Extrude, right click to cancel, and bring them down. S, Z, and then 0. Press Enter to flatten it out on the Z axis. And then we can take these two and press F, I suppose. What I may want is another part right here. So we're going to do Control R, left click, and bring this down. Control R, left click, and bring this down, and select these two and these two. You may need to use wireframe with Z, and then press F to fill that in. You can always slide these around if you need to by using Q. At this point you can just get creative and start filling in the center however you want, and you could have done the same with the rest of this. Just do whatever you feel like doing really, and try to make it look nice. Try different things, see what happens. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do things a little differently here. I'm going to take this vertex and E to Extrude and bring it over, and then I'm going to take these four and press F. So I'm going to do this a little differently than how I did my last one. And I'm going to do E to Extrude, bring this over, and take these four. Then we'll do the same down here. And maybe, probably should bring this one in a bit, as well as this in a bit, just to keep a nicer shape to this. Just adjust the points to kind of make a nice curve in this area. This should turn out a bit differently than my others. That's kind of the goal here. So we're going to do E to Extrude again, and we're going to fill in this area here with F. And I'm just kind of hiding these in this darker part so that you can't see the gap. So we have some problems here. We have this part sticking through. So we actually need to bring this forward a bit and possibly bring these forward a bit. And that should help to correct that. Then what I think I want to do on this particular one is I'm going to take these two, E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring them to the center. And then we'll just bring them forward. So I'm going to do Control R, mouse wheel up twice, left click, right click, and bring these forward. I'm going to deselect these two and then bring the rest of this forward a bit. Deselect these two and bring this forward slightly. And then maybe just bring the rest of these forward some more actually. Just to keep a nice curve in that area. I think that looks pretty good. That's looking nice. So maybe what we can do here, we'll just do E to extrude, bring this over. And take this one, E to extrude, bring it over. And we'll take these two, press F, and these two, and press F. And maybe we will make a different type of shape here in the middle. So I think we're going to do E to extrude and bring this over. And then do the same with this, E to extrude, bring it over. And then we'll take these two, press F, and these two, and press F. So maybe we'll have more of a diamond shape here, although I'm not really sure I like that so much. So maybe something like that instead. And again, just adjust the Y value to kind of fit the curvature of your car. This probably needs to go back some to keep a nice shape to it, so that looks nice. Then from here, I'm going to bring this down, so we're going to do E to extrude, right click to cancel and bring this down. And do the same with this one, extrude it out, bring it down, and then select these two, and again, just press F, and bring these down maybe a bit more, and this one down a bit more. Just to kind of cover up that area right there. So we've got a nice looking front to our car. Then if you want, you can select this one and E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring it to the center and kind of fill in that area like that, if that's what you want to do. And we'll do Control R and left click and maybe right click, and we actually want to bring these forward some, so we'll bring these forward some and then bring this forward some as well. I'm just using Alt right click to select these edge loops and then just bring them forward. What we could do here if we wanted, we can just add in a loop cut here with Control R, do the same down here, make it a little smaller maybe, and maybe fill in this area like that, and perhaps add in a loop cut here. And I don't actually like that, so I'm going to Alt right click, we're going to do delete and choose vertices. I think at this point we can just round off these corners here and make it look a little bit nicer. So we're going to go to edge select. We're going to select these three edges. We're going to do delete and choose only edges and faces. Vertex select, get these two vertices, Control Shift and B to do a vertex bevel. Mouse wheel up once and then make this a nice smooth curve here. Then left click when you're happy. We're going to need a couple more edge loops in order to match these up as nice quads. So we're going to do Control R, left click, right click. Control R, left click, right click. Select these two, press F, and then just continue pressing F. Once you get here, you got to select these four and press F, then select these two and continue pressing F until you have nice quads. You want to take a look around, look at the reflections and everything, make sure that your curvature is good. If you need to, you can adjust some of these back or forward some depending on your car model. This is just one way to do it, but I think the result came out pretty nice. And you can also do a similar thing on these other circles if you want, or this other area here is just round them off. So you can just go to edge select these edges that are connected to these corner parts, then do delete and choose only edges and faces. Vertex select, get these 4 vertices, Control Shift B, mouse wheel up once, and now we'll have our nice rounded corners around this part of the light. Then you can take these two and press F, and these two and continue pressing F, and this should make decent quads here. This one's going to stop, so we got to select these two and press F, and then these two and press F, and that should fill in that area nicely. Everything still looks good. We can add in a loop cut here if we need to in the future, but everything's looking nice. The result's looking pretty good, so since I'm happy with it, I'm just going to save it by going to File and choosing Save, or if you want to, you can do Save As and give it a new name. I'm just going to do File and Save. Thank you to our awesome Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter yourself, head on over to patreon.com/StephenBrooks. Thank you for your support.